Hi, my name is Nancy, and I have the positive group. To begin, the source of power within an organization, according to Fritz, are through the individual basis of power and through organizational structure power. The first of the powers is the individual basis in R, cohesive power, which is basically the agent, which would be the manager of your department, has the control over the recipient, the person who takes the direction from the agent, by using manipulation or even threat to the recipient if they do not do as told by them, even if it means it's wrong or something wrong to do. One example that comes to mind was from a past employer who was the agent, I was the recipient, was told to do something that was unethical and morally wrong. But it was my job, and my job was threatened if anyone found out that he was covering up and stealing money. The next is legitimate power, which tends to come from cultural norms and authority, which reminds me more of a hierarchy where the power has the say so over a lower person, such as the nurses takes the orders from a PA or a doctor, because the doctor is looked at as the higher authority. This type of power can be positive when all involved see it as the structure of the organization and respect is given to all. This type of power can be seen within certain cultures, such as the Native Americans, where respect is given to the elder at all times, and when in company of an elder, one must wait to speak until asked upon, which shows respect within that culture and is valued. The next is referent power. It is when a person shows much respect to a person in higher position by being influenced by that person and has been highly spoken of and is more liked by many people. The expert power is when an association is made, such as one having a higher education and credentials, which give them the person who has the expertise, which is why the recipient will look up to that agent. Such as I am in a group with will be leading our Lenten prayer group at church. And it is on forgiveness, and I look up to the person who has the knowledge to give the presentation because I am not the one who is trained in this area of expertise that is needed. And last is reward power, is when a person of an agent can use power, promising reward for following through with a command that has been given, such as that agent will not write the person up for an incident that happened if the recipient followed all the way through with his command. The agent can only promise a reward within his realm, such as if he can give a longer lunch hour or a day off, then he can promise that. But if he can't, he can only simply promise things such as not to report an incident that has happened and what he can only use for the reward. The second part of power is with health organizational managers will use, which there are three within that structural power. The first one is the resource power, who has the most power to use the resources that are allowed, such as within my church. Even though the priest oversees the congregation, it is the vestry that has the power to write the check for financing decisions that need to be made. The next is decision power. Connected to the level of authority a person has to be able to make the decision, such as if the doctor or the nurse who says the patient can go home. The information power is the next, is when one holds the information but is wanted by others, and how and when they will receive it is controlled by the one who holds that power of information. Such as the agent knows when a new change is coming, but they cannot tell it until the date comes that the announcement will be made, making that person highly desirable. What are positive impacts in an organization when its members exercise power and play the political games? Within the Metzer's political game playing framework, give examples and or your personal experiences regarding positive impacts. When looking at Mintzberg's set of political games, the ones that can have positive impacts on an organization are the alliance building game, which can have a positive by building of networks which develop support from other departments to work towards a goal. Freddie states, the more managers can positively influence the organization's relationships and output, the more successful the organization can be, which can be a challenge for the organization to not play the political games to help keep positive impacts on the organization. As one knows, not realize, and if they do not realize that there will always be political games, which are mainly always focused on the negative, but if one takes the time to understand them, they can be used to one's advantage, such as go above the gossip and do not get sucked into other people's arguments. Keep your interest in the organization's interest in mind, which will help one maintain the integrity, their own integrity. Make sure one is being assertive but not aggressive. And do not rely on others to keep stuff in confidence. Always make sure what you are saying with others will not come back to be used and against you. And by keeping these tips in mind, one can find a positive in the political games of an organization. Thank you.